All right, I think we're live.
Fantastic. Aloha, everybody. It's great to see everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to have a really fun time today. I'm super excited. We wanted to try to do something a little bit different from just like focusing on one song, because we've done a lot of those workshops recently. So definitely keep saying hi to us, those of you who are in the chat. It's great. And also, if you're like, oh, I can't seem to get into the live chat, you have to be subscribed to our channel. This stops bots and stuff from being able to come into our channel and leave nasty messages. So that's why you have to be subscribed to this channel, and it's free. So just go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already.
Well, and actually, that helps us out a lot. We're actually hoping to do a big campaign where I think 10,000 subscribers, and you can start doing more connected fundraising with YouTube. So that's going to be one of our goals coming up.
Yeah.
I'll put myself on screen for a second.
Yay.
Good morning, everyone. Aloha. Welcome to our live stream workshop for today. We still have a good 15 minutes before we officially get started. There's some housekeeping things, and but generally we take some time to make sure that everything is looking and sounding okay. How's everything sounding okay?
Everybody okay?
To you guys? Let us know.
And I
Larry.
can't believe it's in the 90s in Boston. That just
Oh my
sounds
gosh.
horrible. I should check in on my grandparents and grandfather in Gloucester and see how he's doing. It should be cooler there because they're right on the coast, but
And all the UK people and European.
I hope you guys are keeping cool.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like you're melting over
Awesome.
there.
Thanks, Larry. Cool. Thank you, Debbie. Oh, Steven. Yeah, it's just it.
Yeah.
Man, I can't even imagine. It's just.
Yeah, here, I mean, we have had it a little rough here. It's been really sandy and rainy. Sorry, that's terrible. I shouldn't tease
That's
you guys.
horrible.
That's usually what Craig does. We've
Oh
been
my gosh, 100 tomorrow in New England.
100 degrees. Are you guys even like built for that? That's
Yeah.
just insane. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, you guys. Yes, and the humidity is always really tough. Though I grew up in Alabama, and for me, I actually prefer a wet heat personally. Being in Southern California, I would have a really hard time when it was dry heat. Just I prefer being moist.
Oh yeah, Vegas. That's gonna be dry heat.
I don't even want to know what's in Vegas
Oh my
right
gosh.
now.
But we actually are excited. I think we have 2 spaces left in our March retreat. Is that correct, Sarah?
I think we have 0 spaces.
Oh,
I'll have to double check. Yeah, I'll look at the spreadsheet.
I thought we had.
Last time I
I
checked.
think we had 2 spaces that she was
Okay.
keeping open. I think.
Okay. Because I'm like, last time we talked with her.
Yeah, I mean we're right at that point, so
Yeah.
we're excited. We actually have some big news for another retreat that we're gonna announce soon. But it's just been so much fun to get together, people, and play again. Oh, it's
Yeah.
been really, really wonderful. So again, if you're just joining us or if you're watching the replay, don't forget you can still get your packet. Purchasing your packet, even though we show everything on screen, the packets help us keep this free for everyone. It also helps pay the packets forward for other people who can't afford the packet. And right now, it also helps us bring in funds to bring in special guests. Just like in 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a masterclass from Herb Ulta Jr., which is going to be fantastic.
That's going to be so cool.
And again, it's going to be our normal setup where it's going to be absolutely free for everyone. But if you can support, this is how you can do that. So please, and thank you for that.
Yes.
Other things we have coming up. Let's see.
The wrap-up party.
Yes, July 31st, wrap up party for season 1 of our Backyard Concert series. We're going to be talking about, the gear that we used, how we edited things.
Talk about some of our favorite songs and also some really funny behind-the-scenes moments that happened too, because there were like Keolu,
Yeah,
in
it's
the
gonna
middle
be
of
great.
filming, her hair clip just fell right out, but the band kept playing. Craig was able to cut so that you guys never saw that. But stuff like that we'll kind of tell you about. some other fun, like when the bird started showing up around Hanukkah like she was a Disney princess, all that fun stuff. And then August 6th, of course, is Herb Ota Jr.'s workshop. That's going to be a really amazing masterclass. I'm really excited. We actually already have his paperwork in for that, and he's going to take us through a song of his called Rainy Days. And it's the thing I love about this, he's really going to do a deep dive into how he does arrangements, where he starts with the most basic, with single notes, and then starts adding to it. So you're actually going to be sort of walking away with 3 different arrangements for it, like super simple, basic, and then more like what he would do. And so it's going to be a really nice progression through that. And then John Yamasato will actually be in studio with us.
Yeah.
So we get to feature him and Herb.
Yes.
I think they're going to give us a taste of some of what they're going to do for us for the backyard concert. But we'll talk more about that at the wrap-up party, I think.
Yeah, and aloha everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is a beautiful day here in Hawaii. Actually, one of the first mornings this week that it hasn't been raining here in Manoa.
Yeah.
That's been
And
really
also,
nice.
Jack Isaacson, I'm so glad that your shirt made it. Everybody's goodies should have gone out. So hopefully everybody got everything, including all of the ukuleles. I can't believe I don't have another ukulele to drive up to Wahiwa. Because all of our ukulele giveaways for our backyard concerts are done right now. So.
And actually, if you do enjoy learning from Sarah and I, we do have an online school called with Artist Works.
Yep.
There is a crazy promotion right now.
Oh, yeah.
That again, they don't tell us when
No.
they do stuff like this.
They just
But
they just have it out.
I believe there's like 30 hours left on this special.
It's pretty great,
Yeah, that's
actually.
that's crazy.
This is pretty much the Christmas one, which is
Yeah.
why they're calling it Christmas in July.
And if you are subscribed already to our online school, you can always, I think,
You can add it to your subscription, but it's for
Yeah.
12-month subscriptions only, this particular promotion.
Now, speaking of Artist Works, we do have a very special Artist Works live stream just for you guys coming up.
Yep, Artist Works exclusive. We're gonna just do a student check-in. It's been a while since we've done one of these with just us, so it'll be us. You can ask us questions, like in person, in Zoom, and
In real time, yeah.
Yeah, in real time, and we'll hang out and chat. It'll probably be about an hour, but it starts at 9 a.m. We like keeping things consistent around here. Everything starts at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And somebody in the chat asked, is it possible to watch your concerts in person? Yes.
Ooh, that is a good question. So,
And no.
so,
I'm like, okay, our studio space, it looks huge, right? Our backyard looks gigantic. It's not that big, which you'll kind of see when we talk about the behind the scenes stuff. So there will be opportunities if you are here on island. We've had in the chat, actually, Chris Miller has joined us for, I think, 3 or 4 of the concerts, Chris and Ellen. But it's like we only have room for like 4 people.
yes, so there will be opportunities for that. We will talk about that during the wrap-up party
Yeah.
for sure. In
Yeah.
a few weeks? Yeah, in a few weeks. Oh no, it's next week already, huh?
It's crazy. Yep.
Next Sunday. Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta do some work on that.
Also, don't forget, you need to be subscribed to our channel in order to be able to write questions in the live chat. So make sure you're subscribed. We started doing this so that we wouldn't have those bots writing nasty things in the chat. So
Now, one of the questions that we had, we have a donation link on our website, and you can kind of ask questions through that, or just send us an email. And one of the questions that now that travel is kind of getting back, people are going out again, people are on planes again. One of the questions was, what are some tips for traveling with ukulele?
oh yeah, somebody did ask us about that.
So the biggest thing to remember when you're traveling with an instrument is that you always want it on your person. You do not. One of my friends worked for baggage, and he's like, anything precious you do not put
The
under,
plane.
because again, their priority is time, not how careful they are, because again, they need to get things out so planes can keep on schedule. He's like, they will toss and throw things like no other, especially when they're out of sight from the normal people. So keeping it on your person. 2 is, as long as there's space, you're allowed to have a instrument with you, but that means you have to go on early enough to ensure that there's space. So
Yes.
anytime you can purchase some kind of early boarding thing, and if you're traveling with an expensive ukulele, that is
It's worth it.
worth it in spades. I mean, we used to chase status. We reached diamond with Delta for like 3 years in a row. Probably never ever again. Which is
That
really
was a lot
sad.
of flying.
I miss
But
it.
because of that, we used to, because we were diamond medallion status, we were upgraded to first class most of the time. However, double check the plane that you're going to be on, because sometimes the first class overheads and the smaller planes are actually terrible, and they don't fit the instruments that well. So I think it was a CRJ winglet that Delta had that had the weird little slidey thing in first class. The cabins didn't actually open up, and you really had to make sure that like it was on one side they had the small ones, and then the other side it went up. So then it was sort of a rush to get on the plane so that we could be the first aboard, so we could take that. So check the plane, just Google it and double check that it has normal.
Now, other
overhead
random
space.
little tips on that too is the smaller and thinner cases aren't necessarily better to travel with. One of the issues with smaller cases is that it becomes hidden, and people will try to smash
Shove
their
their stuff on it.
not thinking, oh, it can fit. We love our urban cases by Fusion, mainly because they are, they have a lot of padding, and it's not a hard case. But
No.
we've never had issues in the 15 years we traveled. It's
But because they're not a hard case, we did have to keep an eye on the overhead just to make sure that somebody didn't go, shove it back and try to shove their bag on it, because people will do that.
But even if you're traveling solo, we love the double case, because the double case, you can tell there's not much room to muck with. So people tend to just leave it alone. So again, part of it is, making sure that people don't think, oh, there's tons of space. I can put my bag on it. It's fine. Because again, no one's going to take care of your stuff more than you will. We usually bring tiny Hawaiian Host chocolates with us, not only for hosts and guests and sound guys and all that, but on the plane, it can make a heck of a difference saying, oh, aloha, I'm traveling with my ukulele, here's some chocolates. There's not much space on top. Can we put our ukulele in the coat closet? Things like that. I mean, it goes a long way.
Many times, chocolates will get you a yes, and that is really nice. Yeah. And then the other thing I was going to say too is, if you do need to put your instrument under the plane, which some folks do, make sure it's a really good hard case. Because like I forget the one that Gerald Ross has actually. That one's a really good brand that they actually drive like a semi truck over the case. They have video of that. So like that case is a really good one, but I can't remember the name of it. Is it Carlton cases that Audrine uses?
Well, and the fear though, even though that sounds, I if I had my way,
Yeah,
I
Craig
would
really
put
wanted to put our stuff under the
our
plane,
ukes in a big Pelican or something like that,
Yeah.
right? That's like indestructible, pretty much.
which we've done before.
But the issue is that Sarah keeps bringing up, sometimes your luggage doesn't get where you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes things get lost. Sometimes things take an extra day or two.
Yeah.
And that I don't know. Yeah, that's not worth the risk. Right?
Depending on like what you're doing, if you have a gig the next day, have it on your person. If you're just going on vacation and you could live without your instrument for a day or two, you could run the risk. But I was always just like, we can't risk it. I don't want our instruments to get lost.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Joe Souza to create like a thing that you can fold, a foldable ukulele. Because they have the really cool basses that can do that now, right?
I know, but I mean, that's an upright bass. That's crazy.
Oh, that's my dream. Because it's getting a little harder now, especially because I bring a lot of camera gear with me too.
Yeah.
And we have baby things for Cameron.
Yeah.
So it gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are sort of our tips of how we survived traveling as much as we did. But yeah,
Yeah, get on the plane as soon
as
as you
early
can.
as
That's the big
possible.
thing. Another thing too is be confident. I feel like if it feels like you're not sure if you can bring it on or not, they will
They
like
know,
nope.
they can smell fear.
You gotta check that in and yeah and they assume people don't know better, but no, as long as there's room, you are allowed anywhere in the U.S. to be able to travel with an instrument.
And we haven't had any issues with length requirements. We've had some airlines, it's actually international travel, yes, that tend to be the more sticklers than the US airlines. But again, this confidence, Craig and I have managed to be like, no, this is our instrument, this is how we make a living. No, I'm not putting this under the plane, but doing it in a way that's nice, not like jerk sounding, and with chocolates, so that it's we've been able to kind of work through that with airlines in China because China questioned our instruments. I think Germany did too, but we were able to, especially because we were part of the like pre-boarding stuff. So, yeah, but I do know because somebody mentioned KLM has some strict restrictions, but you can also always kind of call ahead and talk to people. But at the end of the day, it is the person at the gate who will make the ultimate decision. I mean, I've even had airlines who say, I'm going to give you a ticket for putting it under the plane. If you can't find a spot, it has to go under. I've always managed to find a way. Even putting it under the seat. I've put tenor ukulele under the seat before, as long as there's not those bars. So, yeah,
All right, so
there's ways.
get your ukuleles out. Make sure they are tuned. We're gonna officially start in just a few moments, but we're gonna start with some playing today. Again, the goal for today is to give you guys a chance to utilize some of the great techniques and things that you've been working on, and give you some ideas for the future as well. We're going to be using a couple of different songs today of Brown Eyed Girl, Drop Baby Drop, and it's going to start pretty simple, but it's going to ramp up pretty quick. Ohio, Taco.
Yes.
Great to see you guys. Gregory,
I
aloha.
love seeing everybody from around the world. I thought I saw somebody say they were in Oslo, which is amazing, as well as the Netherlands too. Goedenavond. I know it's nighttime there.
All right, so let's leave Sarah on screen. We'll put up the iPad. You guys can play along. We're just gonna play through it. We're gonna do some of the things that we're gonna teach today, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. Very excited for today's workshop.
Yes. And I'm just using this is actually the lyric sheet that we created for our Artist Works collaboration video. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it. You can find it on our YouTube channel where we got to feature our students. It was pretty fun. So this is actually their lyric sheet. Figured I'd just reuse it.
2, 3, 4.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came down in the hollow, playing a new game, laughing and a running, hey, hey, skipping and a jumping in the misty morning fog with our hearts a thumping with you, brown-eyed girl. You're my brown-eyed girl. Whatever happened? Tuesdays and so slow, going down the old mine with a transistor radio, standing in the sunlight laughing, hiding behind the rainbow's walls, slipping and a sliding all along the waterfall with you, my brown-eyed girl. You're my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when Sha la 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 ti da. So hard to find my way.
That's right.
Now that I'm on my own. Saw you just the other day. My, how you have grown. Cast my memory back there, Lord. Sometimes I'm overcome thinking about making love in the green grass behind the stadium with you, my brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing sha la 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 ti da? Woo! Sha la 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 ti da. Sha la 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 ti da. Sha la 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 ti da. La ti da.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So we're going to be going over some of those
Yeah.
fills, some of those licks, just to add interest and variety to some of the sections there. It's just going to be a ton of fun. We'll talk about a couple ways to kind of spruce up the strumming a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And then the second song we'll be going to...
Do you want to have the camera on you for that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Because they could hear you, but they didn't see you do that cool stuff.
No, I did. I rotated through.
No, I'm saying just now.
Oh.
I'm going to go zing. Whoops. Sorry. I'm going to go zing. There it is. So this is not in your packet, so don't go looking for it. We just did this real quick so that you could sing and play along with us. But this one is not in the packet.
So I love this song because it's a great practice for using bar chords.
Yup.
But it's just a great song. We'll play through it just to kind of, again, preview what we're going to be going over a little bit later in the workshop.
Now, do you want to sing this one or do you want me to?
You can go for it. I'll focus on the fills and stuff.
Okay. All right. So it's 4 beats of every chord, and that's it. So let's start 2, 3, 4. A, B minor, E7. Do it again. A, C sharp minor, B minor, E7. Here we go. My heart does the tango with every little move you make. I love you like a mango. Wish we could make it every day. I want you to drop, baby, drop, baby, drop. Drop your love on me, drop, baby, drop, baby, drop. Drop 'cause I'm hungry, drop, baby, drop, baby, drop. Drop all your love on me, drop, baby, drop, baby, drop. Drop 'cause I'm hungry, my nights would be so lonely if ever you should choose to go.
Okay, so we have fun song. It's
That's the whole, that's like the whole song.
again, great use of bar chords. Things to think about when we get to this progression again. Keeping more pressure on this part of your bar to help hold that down a little bit. You can always use multiple fingers to start with just to help. Experiment if you're having some pain in your hand. Experiment instead of having it right behind the bar, going up toward the headstock, and you're gonna find that leverage change a bit, so you can kind of roll that bar over rather than pinch, and that should help a lot with that hand. E7, I shouldn't see any wrist out like that. There's no need for that at all, especially from A to E7. Look how small that changes. Here's my A chord, here's my E7. My wrist did not pop out at all. Again, we're thinking about efficient chord changes. So, aloha, Sam.
I know. I love seeing folks all over the world, even folks here in Hawaii too, joining us. It makes us so happy. Thank you, guys.
No, it again, power of the ukulele. It's so absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Again, we can't thank you guys enough for helping us build and support this incredible ukulele community. So, all right.
All right. Should I flip you back to
Please.
page 1? Whee! I feel like I'm on The Price is Right and I'm spinning the wheel, spinning the wheel. Also, don't forget, you guys, you do have at the very beginning this mahalo letter thing where you can check out links and things. I made sure that every thing has that. And there we go.
All right. So, we're going to talk about the introduction to Brown Eyed Girl first. Because again, there's so many things we can add just to that. I'm going to switch to the close-up camera for a second. So we have 1 on the E string, the 3, 5, back to the 3, and the 1. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Let's go try that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Good. Not too bad, right? Then we're going to do that same thing, but on the A string this time. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Back to the E string. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Open E. Now, already we can start talking about a couple things to keep an eye on. 1, can you hear the difference between this? Compared to all right, that difference is huge. This, to me, these kind of things is what separates, you know, a beginner to more of an intermediate player, is that you start thinking about how you're going from note to note. And if you notice, when I was kind of doing these individual fingers for each one, you're going to hear that note stop ringing, right? And there's a little bit of a gap in between. But if you hold those fingers down, it's going to sound beautiful, and you're going to hear each note for as long as possible. But that also means you can't bring these notes down early, right? See how it stops those notes as well. So again, you want to time the left and right hand to be pretty dang close to when they hit the string at the same time. And if you saw there, when I reached up to my pinky, I could let go of my index if I want, because it's focusing on these two that really make that difference now, right? So these are the things that, again, we took hundreds of hours of practicing just like little transitions like that to get them to the point where, you know, a little run like that is going to be as smooth as possible. And this is the difference between also kind of noodling while practicing compared to practicing with intent, practicing with a goal in mind. So not only are you working on memorizing that run, but you're also working on how it sounds, how it comes out, right? So again, I love these little things to, again, because it makes your overall ukulele playing that much tighter, that much better. And it's things you can do while you're practicing everything else. So let's make that a little bit different. And what we're going to do here is include a slide. Now, I know a lot of you have already done slides, but sometimes, like for example, we're doing a 3 to 5 slide, which means we're going to hit the 3 and slide up to that 5. So we're going to hit the 3 once with our right hand and then slide up for that slide. So right hand, left hand. Now, sometimes our slide sounds like this, which is not necessarily what we want, especially for a song like this. So the secret to a good slide is going to be a snap. So once I hit that 3 with my right hand, I'm going to eye that 5th fret here, and I'm going to slide and snap right to that fret. So no stopping in between, but you're going to snap. And see how I'm using that leverage on my side of my index as well. I'm kind of, see how it's kind of going out. I'm pushing off of that to help keep that pressure on, and I actually have like a base to push from. And then again, if you overshoot, you know, it's not gonna sound that great. So again, snapping to exactly where you want it to go. So now we have 1, 3. Now we're gonna hit and slide back to the 3, back to the 1. One more time. 1, 3 to 5 slide. I'm sorry. 1, 3, 3 to 5 slide, back to 3, the 1. Now let's try it on the A string. So 1, 3, 3 to 5 slide, back to 3, back to 1. And notice how I'm never, you know, letting go to get back. I'm going from here, coming back, dropping to that 1. E string, and then open E. Alright, so we'll try that just a few times. I'll play it through a couple times. 1, 3, slide, 3, 1. Next string. 1, 3, slide, 3, 1. E string. 1, 3, slide, 3, 1. Open E. 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, slide, 3, 1. 1, 3, slide, 3, 1. 1, 3, slide, 3, 1. Open E. So even if you're more of an advanced intermediate player right now, again, you can think about having some changes in dynamics. Again, there's so many things that you can do with just a simple riff just like this. It reminds me of a story someone said, you know, if you're in a room full of people and you gave each person the exact same like 4-line poem, every person could read it completely different, and it would have a completely different meaning, and it would be super unique. Same thing here. Every song, every riff, like everyone can do slightly different things and make it your own, right? So, you know, these are the things that we keep pushing forward as musicians is, how can I take what I learn now? Because all of us, right, we're not the same musician that we were a year ago or 2 years ago or even 6 months ago. We're always learning and being able to apply new things to the songs that we already know and love. That's where the fun comes in. I'm still working on songs that I started with back in, you know, 97, because I can play them slightly different and it has a different meaning to me now. So lots of options out there. So not too bad, right? Let's make it a little bit harder. We're going to introduce double stops here. And what we're going to do is hold that F chord. And we're going to touch those 2 strings that we're currently holding down, which is the G string and the E string. And again, for Artist Work students, what's going to be great is that we're going to do a couple lessons coming up that's going to bridge a lot of this and give you some extra material to work on as well. Now, from that F chord, hitting the G and the E string, we are then going to place our middle finger is going to go up a fret, so from here to here, and our ring finger is going to drop on that same fret, 3rd fret on the E string. So my index can actually come off since it's going to be behind him anyways. So we're going from the F, middle finger comes up, ring finger drops on the E string. So if you were to pinch those 2 strings, it'll sound just like that. So let's go back and forth a few times. F to 3s, F to 3s, Do you see my wrist doing anything weird or jumpy? Nope, it's in the same position, just a little stretch, that's it. So F, threes. Now from here, we're gonna hit those threes and we're gonna slide both fingers up to the 5th fret. Yeah, great job. Back down to threes, back down to F. Let's try that again, F, to the threes, 3 to 5 slide, back to threes, back to F. Let's try one last time, F, threes, 3 to 5 slide, threes, drop to F. Nice job. Now, the secret to these double stops is that you want both of these strings to pretty much be equal. So finding that balance to make sure that you're hearing both and not just barely one of the other. See the difference there? Now this slide, getting both of them to snap can be a little tricky, but this is where we practice, right? 3 slide, 3 slide. So again, it's really keeping your eye. I have a little dot on the 5th fret. That's what I really aim for. Kind of like bowling. You aim for the arrows, not the pins, right? 3 to 5 slide. Back to 3. Back to F. Okay. Then we're going to take that same shape, bring it down 1 string each. So now we're on the C string and the A string. C string and the A string. We're going to pinch those 2 strings. Now same thing, threes. 3 to 5 slide, back to threes, back to the F shape. Let's try again, C string and A string, threes, 3 to 5 slide, back to threes, back to the F shape. Now watch my middle finger. He did not leave that string at all that entire time, right? So that's going to help keeping pressure and leverage. And then open E. Let's try this again. Actual F. Threes. 3 to 5 slide. Threes. F. Then bring it down, F shape. Threes. Slide. Threes. Back to the F shape. Now the real F. Threes. Slide. Threes. F, open E. Alright, I'm going to play that in real time. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. And now to end that phrase, we're going to slide from 3 to 5. We're going to hit the 5 2 more times. And walk right down. 4, 3, 1. So after the open E, 3 to 5 slide. Hit the 5 a couple more times. Walk it down. 4, 3, open E. Oh, I mean, sorry, F. 1 on the E.
Yeah.
So in real time, it's going to be like sounds like this. So in context, the second time through. So you can either strum an F chord or you can hit that single note F. All right, how are you guys doing? Not too bad, right? One of the great things about the double stops is that it's a really easy way to enhance your single note melodies. And in this case, what we're doing is adding the third. So if you know your theory, all we're adding is, for F, the third in the F chord is going to be your A. So that's why we're adding the A note on top. And then we have the G and B flat, etc. So we are harmonizing in thirds when we're using this pattern. And thirds are such a safety harmony, even for like singing and whatnot. That's usually the harmony that most people jump to when they're trying to create harmonies. And we're actually thinking about doing a workshop later this year focusing on more singing and singing with your ukulele. So it'll still involve ukulele, but we'll talk about how to quickly find harmonies within your chords, how to be able to kind of jump in and start
practice
singing.
like two birds with one stone, right?
Yeah.
Like you can practice your ukulele and you can practice your singing, like all at the same time. And there's ways to do that. This is something that we've been asked frequently, not only from our Artist Work students, but also from in these live streams. And we've gotten emails too. So we'll talk some about that. And also singing and playing at the same time, because that's actually pretty hard, and some people have difficulty with it. And I know there are some songs I have to practice, especially because there might be certain styles that are difficult for me to play and sing at the same time. So we'll get into that too, I think, when we get into those.
Just catching up with the chat too. Thank you guys so much for the kind words. And Lena's in the chat. Lena and Sam have done so much, not only for the ukulele community, but just the community at large here in Hawaii. It's been really amazing to get to know them better since we've been here. That's one of the big things that we've really enjoyed about being in Hawaii right now, is just being able to get to know all these amazing people
It's true.
that much better. All right, so let's take that even further. We talked about, having these single note melodies.
Next page.
Okay, before we get there, before we do that, I'm going to bookmark that. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to expand some of the chords that we're actually playing for the song. And again, super easy. Let's get right into it. So we have our F, B flat or B flat 6. For high G, I love playing B flat 6, which is B flat without the ring finger. The reason why it works so well on a high G is that it keeps the harmony really tight. There's not much of a difference. On a low G, you'll hear more of that difference being made. So that, depending on your ear, you can keep the B flat with a low G. Try the B flat 6, but to me, it sounds better on the high G. So if I'm playing low G, I'll just stick with the regular B flat. Now, one of the things we're going to add is a hammer-on. I know a lot of you have practiced hammer-ons and pull-offs for who knows how long, but you're not really utilizing them as much as you'd like. So this is a really easy case of using a hammer-on in our everyday kind of chords. So right there, so I have my F. I'm doing a thumb on the C string, which is shown on screen. And then I'm doing a down, up, rest, up, down. So I'm doing thumb, down, up, rest, up, down. Let's just stick on the F for a second. Thumb, down, up, rest, up, down. 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 Now, we're going to try that B flat 6 or B flat. Try B flat 6 for now, a little bit easier. What we're going to do now with that B flat 6 is we're going to keep this middle finger off of the C string for a second. So it looks like open, 1, 1. Now, we're going to hit that C string with our thumb and then hammer on that middle finger. Now, let me get a close-up. So here's my open C string, and I'm gonna hammer. See that physical, it is called a hammer-on because we are wanting to like tap or hammer in that fret. Now, I gotta look you in the eye on this. There's a reason why 5-year-olds can do wonderful hammer-ons. They can do bar chords without hurting themselves. Again, it's not because they're stronger than you, right? but they're being more accurate on getting that hammer-on down. So what I mean by that is I want you to think when you're coming down with that hammer, you're so accurately on the string itself that you're not touching the fretboard at all. Because sometimes if we miss the string a little bit, see how it's more toward the G string? That's where it's going to sound really weak. So aim for the tip of your finger or the fatty part of your finger to be so accurate that you're not touching the fretboard at all. It is 100% on the string. And you're going to get a beautiful ringing tone, a beautiful note. So it's accuracy over strength. Okay, so with the B flat 6, open C, hammer, down, up, down, and then we're going to reset. Thumb, hammer, down, up, down, hammer, thumb, up, sorry. Thumb, hammer, down, up, down, 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 a little bit slower. Thumb, hammer, down, up, rest, up, down. 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 All right, so not too bad, right? Let's go back to the F chord for a second. And this is our nice and easy thumb, down, up, rest, up, down. 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 Now let's go to the B flat, and we're going to stick on the B flat for a while. Again, we're starting with the open C. Thumb, hammer, down, up, rest, up, down. 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 Last time. Thumb, hammer, down, up, rest, up, down. Now, if you notice, everything is exactly the same except we're adding that hammer on, right? So going from F to B flat is going to sound like this. Thumb, down, up, rest, up, down. Thumb, hammer, down, up, rest, up, down. F, thumb, down, up, rest, up, down. B flat, thumb, hammer, down, up, rest, up, down. F, down, up, rest, up, down. B flat, rest, up, down. F, down, up, down. That's kind of the speed that we want to aim for. Again, this is a fun one because you can kind of feel when that train starts to go, right? And you can kind of feel when it all links up. Now, oh, you okay?
Yeah, I just swallowed rum.
What I like about kind of dialing in something like this, even that big change, right? This is a very, pretty much the same pattern as our, the calypso or that down, down, up, down. But notice the difference by just changing that initial down to that thumb. So instead of down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Now adding that thumb. It really kind of, again, tightens things up, and it's not just that wall of sound. again, when you're letting things ring just like that, there's a lot of times where it just feels like this gigantic wall of sound that gets pushed out. But having that break, having that initial thumb kind of sets it up and is almost like a small reset going into the next chord. Right? So it's so much easier on the ears and adds more interest, again, because something different is happening each chord rather than... Right? So these little things can go such a long way. How's everyone doing on that hammer-on for that B flat? If there's any questions, let me know in the chat and we'll kind of dial that in, and I'll move forward for now. Sarah, you had something?
No, I was just going to say, so far so good.
Okay. Let's see.
Time to play with C7.
Okay. So, let's talk about fills going back to the start. So this is typically called like your turnaround chord or your 5 chord going back to the 1. You don't have to know all that if you don't know. Don't worry. All we're doing is thinking about going from a C7 back to our F chord, and that's where you hear kind of the reset of the next phrase, right? Back to the start. So our main progression is F, B flat, F, C7, and that gets repeated a ton of times, right? So to add interest on some of these C7s, my first example is we're going to go from the root of the C or C7, which either way it's going to be the C note, 3rd fret on the A string, and we're just going to walk it down to the 1, to the open A, to the 3 on the E string. So all we're doing is doing a walk down on the F scale. So C, B flat, A, G, which is 3 on the E, and then we're going to strum an F. So let's try that one more time. So C to the 1, to the B flat, open A, 3 on the E, 1 on the F, 1 on the E to the F. Let's try that one more time. 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, open, 3, 1. Try it one more time. 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, open, 3, 1. Okay. So let's play the C7 twice. And then 3, 1, open, 3, 1. Now you can either do the single note for the F or you can strum an F.
Because that's the start of that phrase again, going to that note. But I went ahead and added it to the iPad.
I was going to C7 twice. 1, 2. Walk it down to the 1. F. C7 twice. 1, 2. B flat. F. C7 twice. C7 twice. So if you notice there, that pattern I just did, I'm treating that initial hit there on my F note as if I was hitting the C string and then down up, right? So F, down, up, rest, up, down. So that's how you can do kind of both. We can end the phrase down, up, down. C7 twice. Now, we have another variation. This one is super fun. This does sound better on a high G, which I heard Lena and Sam are both playing today, which means that they also are Team High G. Now, this is going to utilize our pull-offs. Let's talk about pull-offs for just a second. Pull-off. What is a pull-off? A pull-off is literally getting a note plucked with your left hand. That's really all it is. So, for example, let's hold our ring finger on the C note, the 3rd fret A string, and without your right hand, I want you just to pluck that A string. That's it. That's all a pull-off really is. Not bad, right? Now let's say I actually wanted the B flat note to ring. We're going to hold the 1 down. We're going to place our ring finger on that 3rd fret. And all we're going to do is pluck that string with that left hand. That really is what a pull-off really is. Now, if I wanted the C note first, I can hit that C note. So I'm going to have both my ring and index down. And then I'm going to pull off. So hit my C note, pull off to the 1. All right, not too bad. Let's do a close-up. You can see our gorgeous inlay. This is we've only used these new ukes a couple times since we got them. There's beautiful customs. We got the nice little armrest thing here. True relief.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Sorry. I'm always like, oh, I don't get reflections anymore. This is just, yeah, it's a beautiful uke. Okay, 3, pull off to the 1. Now, what we're gonna do here is I want to pull off to the open right after that. So it's gonna look like this. Hit the 3, pull off to the 1, and then pull off to the open. Hit, pull, pull. Hit, pull, pull. Hit, ring, index. Hit, pull, pull. 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 Not too bad, right? Now, a pull-off isn't meant to sound as loud as actual hitting notes, right? I think of it as pull-off is typically used for speed or for a certain tone. In this case, I want you to imagine a waterfall cascading. So think of a waterfall. Close your eyes, and this is what I want you to have in your head when you hit this. So it's not as strong. So I'm starting strong, and I'm kind of just relaxing my notes after that. So I'm not, it's not like a crazy Jake runner. That one of those. We're just thinking of that nice slow cascading feel. Now, we're gonna add an open G right after that. Make sure to keep this just as soft as the rest, right? Because we're introducing a new note now with a hit, so we don't want it to be, right? Again, this is another thing that you can practice while watching TV, just to nail that down. Let me pull up the iPad. So we have, and then we're gonna go back to the 1, pull off again, back to the G, and then open E. So the first 4 notes, again, we're going to prep 3 and 1. We're going to hit 3, pull off the 1, open G. And then for the second half, we're going to put the 1 back down, pull off to the 1. I'm sorry, pull off the 1 to the open G, open E. Now, this is going to sound really pretty. Let's get a close up. So again, I'm prepping 3 and 1. I'm doing 3, pull to the 1, pull to the open G, 1, pull to the open G, open E. And we can end on our F chord. All right, yeah, 45 seconds, as Herb would say, to practice this before moving on. Whew. Again, don't be afraid to break these parts up, even if it's just working on the initial pull off. You know, hit and pull, then add second pull off, then add the G, and then work on the second half, and then add the E.
Now, there were 2 questions that popped up.
Okay.
One of them, I can chat for a second, if you don't mind switching to me. The first question that popped up, and then I will want your input, Craig, it was, how do I'm playing and I keep getting these accidental pull-offs, like if I'm switching chords or switching in between notes. That was one question about that. And then the other one is, I'm having issues where my callus will hit the string in a weird way. So when I'm doing my pull-offs. So one thing with that one, as I had mentioned in the chat, like try changing the slight angle at which you're coming up with your finger, whether you're going up or whether you're kind of, because for me, I use my callus definitely when I'm doing it, but I don't have any weird, I think I'm muted, sorry. But it's really, for me, I tend to pull back a bit, even if I'm here. I'm coming up a little bit more in the middle strings, of course, because I can't come down in the same way. So kind of practice and be really deliberate about like what exact angle are you coming up from, and what exact angle are you picking the string from, because that's going to affect the tone when you're doing that pull-off. And then for the accidental pull-offs, I find a lot of times that can be solved if you don't press as hard. Because I find that one thing that does tend to happen to me is if I'm holding a chord down really, really tightly, when I lift up my, well, it's not going to happen now because it's like I'm at the mechanic, but but if I pull up my fingers, sometimes I can get an extra pull off, and it's because I'm actually kind of pulling the strings as I lift off because I'm putting too much pressure down. And if I've got these crazy divots in my fingers, I'm pressing way too hard. You can have like a small divot, but you don't want it to look like the string is embedded in your finger, right? So sometimes when people do that, they'll actually literally pull the strings as they lift them off, which can make that happen. Or if my fingers are feeling really clammy, sometimes they stick to the strings too when I go. So again, having a really light touch will help. So work on your touch and make sure that it's as light as possible for what you need to do. Because many times you get that accidental pull-off sound just because you're focusing really, really hard and probably squeezing harder than you need to. So, and moving the strings.
Okay, now a couple things to add. If you're not hearing as much of the one after that pull-off, again, give it a nice hit. And even if it's just that small, that means you're getting it, and we can increase how much pressure we have. But this has to be solid too, so make sure that you can hit that first fret, and it's ringing out, and then add the ring, and then pull off. But sometimes we were too relaxed on the note that we're going to, and it's not ringing at all. So when we try to pull off, it's not quite there. So make sure that it's ringing first.
It's all about that accuracy.
And then being able to have that ring. Now, like brings up the question. On the A string, it is easier to just kind of curl up or pull down, right? When you're on the E string, you have the A string to worry about, and that gets tricky. But here's the secret. Let's hold the 3 and 1 on the E string. Now, what I'm going to challenge you to do here is going to make sure that that index does ring, first of all, before you add your ring. Now, hit that ring. Now, as soon as you hit that ring, I want you to just lift off your finger straight up, but snap it straight off. Isn't that crazy? We can get a solid tone just by quickly releasing that finger. Now, sometimes you want a little bit of a bite. So I'm gonna, instead of going straight up, I'm gonna angle it a little bit, but it's still gonna go past the A string without any risk of hitting the A string at all. So let's see if I can do it. So instead of lifting straight up like this, I'm gonna angle it. See how it goes above the A string, but angled a little bit there. So that's how I can even get a harmony note on my A string without accidentally hitting it. So again, I'm not squeezing that hard at all, like Sarah mentioned, right? So part of it is keeping it down, making sure that the note you're going to is ringing. Add your ring finger, and just go straight up or a little bit of a diagonal. So not too bad. Again, 99% of the problems we have on the ukulele is due to squeezing too hard. So let's, any other questions on that? Oh, and the question about sometimes changing chords, you'll hear that, right? Same thing, when you're releasing really quickly, you will get that pull-off sound, an accidental pull-off, right? So, first of all, kudos that you can hear that. Many people do not hear themselves when it's doing that. So that means you are ready to kind of hone that in. For me, I didn't hear it right away until I started playing plugged in.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, every little transition. You think you're a clean player and you plug in and listen with headphones for the first time or through an amp, you realize how much work you have to do. So now it's about releasing the pressure and stopping the vibration before letting go to transition to the next chord. It's a lot, but the rainbow at the end of the thing is you're gonna get so used to that. Sorry, a little throwback to you're gonna get so used to that it will become second nature, and that's gonna be how you kind of, work on those transitions. Even if you want it to ring, see how there's no gap, even though I was releasing. Part of it is stopping the vibrations, quickly moving to your next chord. And this takes time. This is something that, again, will separate a lot of the beginner players to the more advanced players, is that control over every single transition, every single note that you're doing, to again ensure that all the in-between stuff sounds as good as the stuff that you are playing. So with that in mind, if this is kind of up your alley right now of what you want to focus on, going back to your scales. Right, there's no accidental pull off, but sometimes if I'm letting go too quickly, right, you hear all that stuff. Again, from scales to just basic chord progressions, maybe just strum one time, like for Brown and Girl, right? We have F, B flat, F, C7. But see, my F to C7, I release the tension of my, let's just focus on the E string. I release that tension before I completely let go. If I completely let go, again, you hear that accidental pull off. But stopping the vibration first and then moving to my next chord. It is tricky to start, but I promise you, you're gonna start really noticing how much smoother your transitions and cleaner your transitions will be because of that control.
Now for this, do you want me to play background and you play that last line?
For the C7 walk down? Yeah, let's try.
Practice. Hopefully I'm still in tune.
And what we'll do, we'll start with the third line.
Okay,
so we'll go alternate between the third line and the fourth line.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. C7 twice. Fourth line. F. Here's the fun walk down. Back to the third line. F. C7 twice. Try a little bit faster now. 1, 2, 3, 4. C7 twice. I think I accidentally did those as flops. Fun walk down. Sorry, it's just a beautiful way to kind of enhance these turnarounds a little bit. And if you notice, there's sometimes on that last line, I would actually strum the C chord and then instead of just hitting the note.
And the cool part about this is that this riff is basically part of that F scale backwards. Because remember, that F scale has a B flat note in it.
Yep.
So think about that too. When you're doing riffs or you're trying to create your own, you can always use either notes found within the chord itself to help guide you, or think about the scale that this is coming from, and then you could use pieces of that scale to help you create these riffs. Because that's basically what's happening is you're starting on the C note and then going to C, B flat, A, G. Those are the notes you find there. And I think I even wrote that in the text on this. And there you go. You've created a riff using notes found from that F major scale. Now,
we have about 15 minutes more in this workshop, but before we move on, Sarah, I did want you to have a chance to talk about what's in the Scholar packet for this month.
Yeah, the Scholar packet. So we had so much stuff we wanted to teach that we couldn't put it all in this one. And in fact, I think we're not going to make it through this whole packet today because we still have a bunch more stuff to go over. But... So for the Scholar packet, what I'm going to do is I've prepped the song Wild World, the Cat Stevens song, as well as Funky Town. I'm going to kind of talk about, I know those are two very different kinds of songs from a similar era. And I'm going to talk about the riffs, how they're kind of created, and how you can kind of look for, especially in Funky Town, if you know your chord shapes, it's funny how you can use those shapes to help guide you to find the riffs for the song. The other extra thing I added for Funky Town is I did a workshop where I taught the song in 3 parts, and I've included the 3 parts, at least the tablature music notation of it in it. And I'll talk a little bit about it in the mini video lesson I'm going to do for both songs. So keep that in mind. The video lesson is not included in the packet as of right now on the 23rd, but you will get an email by July 30th that will have the mini lesson video, and the packet will be updated. So those of you that are watching after July 23rd and have purchased your packet after July 23rd, you will actually already have access to the video because I'm going to put it in the packet.
And don't forget, coming up...
Yes. Coming up, July 31st, we have our wrap-up party for our backyard concert series. Herb Ota Jr., who was our very first artist, is going to be joining us live, and we're going to have fun talking about, how we even came up with season 1. How did we record stuff? How did our gear change? How did just us recording outside change? As well as fun behind-the-scenes things, funny things that happened while we were filming that, of course, we didn't put in the concerts. And you can actually ask us questions because it will be live. And then August 6th, we will have a masterclass with Herb Ota Jr. But don't let the word masterclass scare you. If you are a confident beginner, you will do just fine, because Herb is going to take us through a beautiful song of his called Rainy Days. And that one, it's going to be 3 different arrangements. He starts with single notes, then he gets you through a basic arrangement, and then takes you through to how he would arrange it. So you're going to have a really beautiful range for all levels of player, really.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to kind of learn how he arranges things.
Well, he wanted to do a workshop. How do you play like Herb Ota Jr.? This is
Basically,
pretty
yeah.
much it. This is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I did want to do a quick shout out to Lena, who's in the chat. Maybe she's retuning her Logi at this point. But I did want to thank her because she did put a lot of time in on our first concert that we did for the Backyard series, and gave us a lot of great feedback that helped shape the rest of the series.
Yes.
So thank you, Lena.
Thank you, Lena.
All right. Don't forget, Artist Work students, we have a special live stream just for you guys next Saturday.
Yep. And don't worry if you can't make it live. We'll have the recording up in the ArtistWorks platform under special guests once we get the recording and everything.
All right. So let's go back to the iPad.
And now I've switched us to the next round of
Okay.
stuff.
So let's take that function that we did earlier. We talked about double stops, right? About how to have the melody with a harmony and create more texture and, again, emulating singers in that sense. Now, for Drop Baby Drop, we have the 4 chords. We have the A chord, C sharp minor 7, which is a fancy way of saying bar the 4th fret, please. We can walk it down to the 2nd fret, and then E7. Again, E7 should look nice and easy, just like your A chord. Right? I don't have to shoot my wrist out for an E7. It's all right here. All right, so we can do the same kind of pattern, that thumb down, up, down, thumb down, up, E7. Now, holding that E7, we're going to focus on the C string and the A string. So we're going to do 1 strum on the E7. Now, just like Brown Eyed Girl, we're going to focus on what our middle and ring are holding. So the 2s, we're going to hit, or we can consider this a pinch, and we're going to slide to the 4th fret. Again, that nice snap. Good. So we have E7 once, pinch, pinch and slide actually, right? So E7, and we hit it again, then drop to the 2s. That's it. We're going to try that together. So E7 once, pinch, slide, pinch again, drop to the 2s, and then A chord. So it's going to sound like this. So from A, C sharp minor 7, B minor 7, E7 once. Let's try that again. I'll go a little bit slower. 2nd fret, slide, hit. Nope, that's not right. One more time. E7 first. E7 once, slide, hit, drop down, A. Let's try it again. That was pretty good. E7 once, slide, 4, 2, A. E7, slide, 4, 2, A. Let's try just that E7. E7, slide, 4 to A. One more time, E7, E7, slide 4 to A. Let's try one more time. Second fret, E7 once, slide 4 to A. Good job. So, in context, not too bad, right? It's a nice, again, just a nice easy fill using double stops. Let's make it a little bit harder.
Yay.
All right, so what we're going to do before we start looking at the iPad. That's right. So we're going to pretty much play the same thing but a little bit faster. We're actually going to start, instead of hitting the E7, we're going to do a rest, rest, slide, hit, hit, slide. So we're going to slide, hit these 4s 2 more times, drop to the 3, drop to the 2, and then A chord. I'm going to do a close-up. So from,
Ooh.
yeah, getting there. Let me open up that camera.
Funny.
Sometimes, there we go. Okay, so from the 2s, slide, hit, 3, 2. One more time. Slide, hit, 3, 2. One more time. Slide, hit, 3, 2. Last time. Slide, hit, 3, 2. All right, so I'm gonna count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. Slide, hit. Oh, that's too fast. 2, 4. Rest. 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 Slide, hit, 3, 2. 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 And then A chord. Woohoo! All right, so in context. Nice. All right, great job, guys. Now, we're going to take this one step further. Woohoo!
And all you're gonna do is just change a little bit, right? Like just one
I'm going to
thing.
change it all.
Ah!
So, what we're going to do here is I want you to hit, going back to our 2s, right, from the E7 shape. So we have the 2s set. We're going to hit the C string. Now, we're going to let go of the A string for a second. We're going to slide to the 2. I'm sorry, from 2 to 4. And our index, ring is going to slide with them, sorry. So 2 to 4, but we're going to focus on one small change. So 2 to 4, we're going to hit with the C string. And then we're going to hit the A string with our 4th fret already held down. So the motion for our left hand is just going from 2 to 4 slide, but we're only hit the C string and then the A string. Ooh. So C string, 2 to 4 slide, and then hit A4. Nice. Then we're going to drop to the 3, and we're going to hit the C string first again, then the A string, drop to the 2, C string first, followed by the A string, and then A chord. Ooh, so it's going to sound like this. times. So again, all I'm doing with the left hand is sliding up, dropping to 3, dropping to 2, and then my A chord. So from here, let's hit the C string, slide up, hit the A string, drop to 3s, C string, A string, drop to 2s, C string, A string, and A chord.
Woohoo!
So in context, rest. 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 Not bad. And you notice I'm going to my C sharp note and then filling out the rest of my A chord there. All right, let's go for the super fancy one. Woohoo!
Extra fancy.
All right, so we're gonna start off the same way, 2 to 4 slide, C string first. Right? Now, from here, we're gonna hit the A string, E string, C string, 2 to 4 slide, hit the A string, and then the open E string. You notice I'm using thumb, middle, index on my right hand. Let's try that a couple more times, because this pattern we're going to stay with the whole thing. 2 to 4 slide, A, E. All right, start with C string, 2 to 4 slide, A, E. Rest, 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 rest. Now we're gonna go from here. We're gonna drop down to 3, same pattern. C string with the thumb, middle on the A, index on the E. Come down to the 2, C, A, E, and then the C sharp. Not too bad. So on the 4th fret, let's pretend we did the slide. Actually, no, we'll include the slide. So 2 to 4 slide on the C, A, E, drop to 3, C, A, E, 2, A, E, and 1. Yeah! All right. Let's try one more time. One more time. So 2 to 4 slide, C string, A, E, drop to the 3, C, A, E, drop to the 2, C, A, E, C sharp, or the 1 on the C. Super bluesy feel, huh? But this is how it's gonna sound with playing with others. 2, 3, 4. Rest. Oh,
You did it right.
I think I did the first version.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
One more time. A little bit slower. Rest.
Those triplets come up fast.
Yeah, let's pick up the speed now. See, not bad. 2, 3, 4.
Oh, sorry. Neat, yeah.
Not
And you're
too
still doing
bad,
the
right?
same motions that, as far as your fretting hand, it's almost the exact same motions as the very first easy one that you taught. Like, it's just the picking hand that's doing
Yep.
the heavy lifting. So it's also something else to kind of keep in mind when you're coming up with your own riffs is maybe you came up with a really cool chord sequence. Well, if you add a little bit of finger picking in there, you can make it sound even cooler.
So, again, this is why we always say having more tools to pull from
Yep.
gives you more options to experiment and to try out. And again, this was building from the things that we started with,
Yep.
talking about those double stops. A lot of great things to, again, come back and watch. We're going to keep this replay up for forever, I think.
Yep.
Again,
Yep.
for you guys to kind of dissect at your own pace and even just focus on one tiny bit at a time. There's no rush, right?
No, not at all.
Now, let's take it even further. So we talked about, oh my gosh, yeah, we do have a ton more to do, huh?
Well, we could always stop at
Yeah.
at your pull-off exercise
Yeah.
because I think we've got a lot of stuff to chew on and maybe
Okay. So
yeah.
I'm gonna not go into as much detail as I normally would, but let's say, again, we're in the key of A. We talked about how we can go from 2s to 4s. Now we can actually change it up. We can go from 2s to 4s. Now from here, my middle finger is gonna jump up to the 6, and I'm gonna rotate, and my index will drop to the 5. So again, here's my 2s, my 4s. My ring will come off, middle will jump up 2, my index will jump off and only go up 1. So I'm holding down the 6 and the 5, and I can jump everything up 2 more frets. And one more time, 2s, 4s, 6 and 5, 8 and 7. Again, really playing off of these harmonies. So 2s, 4s, 6 and 5, 8 and 7, back down, 4s, 3, 2, to the A. Now, just like the last exercise, we can use, I can do a slide, hit slide A string, hit the C string again, but this time go to 6 and 5. I can go up 2. I can come back down. Come back down. Again, being able to manipulate and control the notes that we're hitting. So I could do this. But now if I isolate that C string and slide and then hit the A string, it becomes something so much more, right? Again, really playing off of these notes.
The thing that's cool about this is learning this kind of thing I think is great for multiple styles of music. But I hear this kind of thing all the time in Hawaiian style music, intros and endings and things like that, utilizing that double stop technique, blues, of course. So it's practicing your thirds or your sixes, but going up, and maybe we'll do a live stream on that, just patterns like this, because they're really handy, and it's just pieces of the original chord is really what you're doing, just notes from that, or possibly extensions like a ninth or something. But that's like a whole other workshop in and of itself.
Yeah, part of it is getting this under your fingertips, and then we can explain explain why it works and how to manipulate it even further.
Yeah.
But part of it is just getting to play a little bit, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yes, we can do the fingering again. Let me pull that up. So again, for my twos, I'm using my middle and ring. And my fours, same thing. I'm going to slide up with my middle finger 2 frets, and then drop my index. Up 2 frets each. Drop down. Pivot to the 4s. Drop to the 3s. Drop to the 2s.
And Craig is throwing in the 3s, even though those are like technically, he's just doing a walk down because you've just got a space in between, even though that's not written in this chart, but it adds a nice sound.
So look how many ways even with just that, how much we can manipulate that. If I add that open E as well. So again, it's going to be a fantastic exercise to build, working on these harmonies, working on these patterns, and then we'll keep pushing on how to manipulate that even further as well. But this is a great start to that. I hope you guys are doing well so far. We're going to do a little bit more before we end today's session. Hope you guys are doing okay. Sorry, we're going a little long today. One of my favorite exercises was this next one coming up. And again, if you guys are enjoying this video, please like the video and subscribe. It helps us a lot as we push forward. As you know, we're trying to do a lot of different things with this channel. We're going to do some behind the scenes documentaries with some legends of the ukulele. We're going to do more backyard concerts. We're doing more workshops. So a lot of great things in the works that we're going to update you guys on soon. Now, oh, nice. All right, so which one is this? Oh, we're starting with the A minor scale.
Yeah, because we were going to do a little bit of minor, but I think that this will be good just to do the...
Okay, so we'll do A minor scale. What we're going to do, let's talk about the A minor scale for a second. We have open A. We have the 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. So that's our A minor scale. Happens to be all the notes in the C major scale. We're just starting on a different note, right? There's no sharps or flats because it's the relative minor of C major. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And what we're going to do here is we're going to talk a little bit about double picking. Double picking is just being able to do a down and an up, down and an up, down and an up. So let's start first with the A all the way on the 12th. We'll give that a few hits. Let's walk down to the 10. Skip to the 8. Step to the 7. Skip to the 5. Skip to the 3. Step to the 2. And open A. Now, another way of doing double picking is you could do down with the thumb and up with the index. Abe Lagrimas is incredibly fast with this technique. Sarah will sometimes walk.
I do index and middle.
Index and middle. I like using my thumb. So tons of different ways to do this. The one thing we're going to add here now is we're going to hit the 12 with a down. We're going to pull off with our middle finger and then up with the thumb. So down, pull, up with the thumb. Down, pull, up, down, pull. And all we're going to do is trace back our scale. So 12, 10, 8, 7, 5, 3, 2, and open. One more time. 12, 10, 8, 7, 5, 3, 2, and open. Now to make it a little bit fancier, we're going to do 3 of them in a row. So 12.
Oh, it got out of focus.
Oh, sorry. Let me open up my screen real quick. Let's just manually focus this. Yay. There we go. So 12, 10, 8. Now step back to the 10, 8, 7. Step back to the 8, 7, 5. Step back to the 7, 5, 3. Step back to the 5, 2. Back to the 3, 2, and open. So as if we're to count down, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? What we're doing is hitting 3 notes. So 10, 9, 8, 9, 8, 7, 8, 7, 6, 7, 6, 5, etc. That's how we're using the scale broken up. So we have 12, 10, 8. So those are 3 batch. Then we go back to the 10, to the 8, 7. Now back to the 8, 7, 5. Back to the 7, 5, 3. Back to the 5, 3. Back to the 3. And then open A. So you do hear 2 A's at the very end.
It's a great exercise
that's
to
where a lot that
practice.
speed comes from. And notice I'm using just 2 fingers. I'm doing my first hit, index hit, and then slide down, because that preps me for my next start. Slide down, slide down, slide down, slide down. Now, great exercise. You're not going to play a whole song with this, but if we move up on the iPad, so this is actually coming from, if you haven't seen already, I have a introductory to soloing and chord music theory on the ukulele. It's on our channel. Take a look for it. this is how we can use A minor scale and have a progression like love. Like this is we're picked this from Love Song.
Yeah, from our January live stream love song.
And again, the fills that you can choose from anything within that C scale, A minor scale, you're going to be able to utilize with that in mind. Again, we're trying to bridge some of our live streams together. And I know this is completely different than what we just worked on for the last hour, but I wanted to include some of this for those of you who have been following us for a while and wanted more connecting tissue between some of these great concepts that we have, right? So,
and also a minor key. We work
Yes.
so much in major keys that we were
Yes.
like, let's give you some minor things to work on.
now, that A minor scale, we'll talk about utilizing this in a future thing, but this is a great, again, exercise to build that triplet feeling, working on those ups, working on the speed, working on your scale. Keep going with that. I promise you, we're
And
going to start pushing forward with that
Artist
kind
work
of stuff
students,
soon. Yes.
you're gonna use that when you look at the toccata lesson. So FYI, I think it's in the advanced lessons, toccata, Craig goes over this scale exercise, but this is what you use for that. So practice this if one of your goals is to be able to play that song.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Now, let's talk about how to use some simple pull-offs and hammer-ons within this progression. So we have A minor, G, we have F or F add 9, which is just
Easier.
F without the middle finger. Sounds better on a high G. E7, A minor, G, F or add 9, E7. Now, what we're going to do, down, thumb, just on the G string, down, thumb, up. And actually we're going to strum the whole chord, but we're going to hold down the 2 with our ring finger and hammer on the pinky on that 3rd fret.
If you've got a weak pinky, this is great. This is
Again.
a great exercise for practicing training your pinky.
So the hard part, let's hold the A minor, let's hold the ring finger on the 2 and see how I'm just, again, I'm not smashing my pinky, right? I'm just being accurate. So now with the true A minor, down, thumb, up. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Down, thumb, up, down, hammer. Again, down, thumb, up, down, hammer. Down, thumb, up, down, hammer. Good. Let's switch to a G, but let's keep the A string open. So again, no A string. It should sound like this. Down, thumb, up. Now, for the tricky part, we're gonna actually bring that middle finger down, strum, hammer that pinky again. So from the G with the open A, down, thumb, up, down, hammer. So again, that down hammer is a full G, and just hammering that pinky. Again, doesn't need to be super loud, just enough to hear a little bit. Down, thumb, up, down, hammer. F add 9, down, thumb, up. Same thing, I'm gonna bring my ring finger down, hammer the pinky, down, thumb, up. E7, down, thumb, up. Now here we're gonna bring our pinky on the 3rd fret, do a strum, and then pull off to the 2. Let's try that line one more time. So A minor. Again, A minor, the tricky thing is adding that ring and then hammering the pinky. The G with the open A, tricky thing is going to be adding that middle finger, hammering the pinky. Then we have the F add 9. Tricky thing is adding the ring, hammering the pinky. And again, if you notice, they're always on that 2, 3, right? from the A minor, 2, 3, G, 2, 3, F, 2, 3, and for the E7, 3, 2. Okay, let's try this. 2, 3, 4, down, thumb up, 2, 3, G, thumb up, 2, 3, F, thumb up, 2, 3, E7, down, thumb up, 3, 2, repeat, down, thumb up, 2, 3, G, thumb up, 2, 3, F, thumb up, 2, 3, E7, thumb up, 3, 2, again, down, thumb up, 2, 3, cha, cha, G, thumb up, 2, 3, F, thumb up, 2, 3, E7, thumb up, 3, 2, again, down, up, 2, 3, G, thumb up, 2, 3, F, thumb up, 2, 3, E7, 3, 2, A minor. Again. Not too bad, right? It changes so much. All right. So F add 9 is that 0, 0, 1 open. Oh, is there a mistake?
Yeah, there was a mistake in the handout. Thank you guys for catching that.
Thank you for catching that.
I accidentally wrote A7.
You almost got away with it, Sarah. You
did.
Almost got away.
We checked it like 4 times too.
But there's always one. There's
Yes.
always one. Now, the second part of that is you could do working on more on pull-offs now. You could do an A minor 7, which is open, 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 thumb up. And now the tricky part is 3, 2, open. So we're doing a double pull-off again. We're hitting the 3, pull off to the 2, pull off to the open, and then G, open G. Ooh, remember that? Except we used the B flat last time because we were in the key of F. But because we're in the key of A minor, we're going to use the 3 and the 2. So strum, pull to the 2, pull to the open, open G. So in context, down, thumb up. Ooh.
So you want that to be a strum.
Yeah, all of these should be strums for that initial
Okay.
thing. And then even the line before that, yeah. So again, G with the open A, strum, thumb up. Now I'm gonna prep my full G. I'm gonna prep the 3, strum, pull to the 2, pull to the open, thumb on the G. Ooh, beautiful cascading run. Now, if you're like me, when you first tried this, hitting your open A sometimes sounded like this. Where your index would be touching the A string, all right? So, to really focus on getting a clean A string, I'm actually going over that, the nut there, and going diagonal across, so it cannot touch the A string at all because I'm actually going diagonal around it. So now I'm focusing on it. There we go. So there. Again, if you're having trouble, let me put a close up. If you're having trouble with this, that's great because that means you found something to work on. Don't ever be discouraged about, oh my gosh, I can't do that right now.
Well,
we
key
all
right
came
now.
from that, but that means you're learning and you're doing something new and you're doing something that's going to improve with everything else that you do. So that's fantastic. If we can find things to work on, that's great. Because a lot of times we sit down with the ukulele, we want to get better, but we don't know what to do. We don't know what to work on. So if this is giving you some trouble, now we know we have something that we can work on. So that's great. Don't ever feel down about finding things that, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Of course, or else why are you here? We want to teach you new things, right? So let's go back to that G with the pinky down, pull the 3, pull the 2 to the open, and then open G. Why is that so messy? With the F, prep the 3 and the 2. Same thing. Strum, pull the 3, pull the 2 to the open G, to the E7, and then hold the 3, pull off to the 2. All right, so I'm gonna play that last line. I'm gonna go between 3 and 4, the line, the 2 lines. So a lot of fun options to play around with. Again, we can always change things up as we get a little bit more familiar getting these under our fingers.
Yay.
Are there any questions we can help answer before we leave you guys today? I'm sorry we went a little long today. I'm so glad you guys joined us for this. This was a lot of fun. Again, we have so much more in that scholar packet as well that Sarah really dialed in.
So the one question that popped up actually has nothing to do with this workshop, but is how long is that wrap-up party going to be? Probably about an hour.
Probably about an hour to hour 20, I should say.
Oh yeah, it might be a little longer knowing
music
Herb.
We can make Herb play.
But also just knowing Herb and how, for some reason, we bring out the goofy in Herb, and we always end up just having a really fun ruckus time. So it might be a little over an hour as we talk through things, and also just have questions prepped. We want, if you're like, oh, tell us about this one. Oh, how did you guys do this? That's why it's live, so you can ask us those questions. So thank you so, so much. And there is so much great stuff to practice from today's workshop. And remember, this is recorded. You can go back and rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. And let's see here. My little finger collapses sideways and it won't stay straight up and down. Any question? So for me, one thing that I kind of had to do was I had to actually kind of do what I would call reps, where I would hold like a G chord, for example, and then I would put my pinky down and just literally practice going up and down, up and down, up and down. Or then if I knew I needed to do that move holding an E7, I would practice holding the E7. And I'm not trying to make sounds at all. I'm literally just trying to strengthen this finger, because a lot of times it's a strength issue. And then the other thing, let's see if
Well, one tidbit on that too.
Yeah.
Typically, if you are collapsing fingers, a lot of times that means you're holding them way out, and then they don't have a lot of leverage to actually be held down.
Yeah.
But coming in, you'll see that natural curve start to happen, right? Compared to that. And again, this is all personal preference. There will be... my goal is to make sure that you guys can play this amazing instrument without hurting yourself. A lot of guitarists who's trained a lot to have that reach and extension because they need, to go around 6 strings, will typically have a really strong foundation that way. But even watching like Jeff Peterson, who's a fantastic guitarist, a lot of that straight wrist action will allow him to have that nice curve on his fingers.
And if you watch his backyard concert, you'll see how straight his wrist really is.
Yeah, that was an amazing
He doesn't
concert.
actually, even with the guitar, he's not super splayed out. It really is a nice straight wrist. And he's classically trained. So, and even though he keeps his thumb in the back for a lot of it, you'll see that everything is straight, even though, and he does more piano-esque fingers. But again, you can do that and still have a nice straight wrist. And he's a really good showcase of that.
Yeah, Holly, I think for like the E7, I'm definitely pulling off with my pinky. And there's some times for the G. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't have any other fingers to help with that shape, especially that G needing that
And Stephen,
Thank
you're
you.
correct with Jeff doing that rotation. We actually discussed that a little bit because that's what Craig does for B flats. Is it's really about wrist stay straight. It's about rotation so that you can actually make those reaches.
Good catch.
Yep.
Well, we are so happy you guys joined us
Yeah.
today. Thank you for spending part of your Saturday
Yes.
with us.
And if you decide you want to upgrade your scholar packet, just send us an email. I think our email is actually listed in your packet and the mahalo letter.
And we did have a birthday in the chat, but I also
Happy birthday!
who's I missed whose it was. We'll find you. But I also want to say a very special birthday to Sarah.
Oh,
She just turned 21.
woo!
And,
Let's go out. Let's go to the club.
oh my gosh! But we had a very lovely birthday. We took
We did.
we took the day off. It was
It was
nice.
a wonderful
beautiful.
day. It was with family, and we played outside, and it was just a wonderful time. So I'm
Yes.
very grateful. Thank you all. Many of you guys I know wished me happy birthday either in email or through social media, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much, you guys.
Oh, but much love and aloha. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Don't forget, next weekend, our Artist Works special live stream on Saturday. Sunday is our wrap-up party for season 1 of our backyard concerts. The weekend after that will be our masterclass with Herb Ota Jr. You will not want to miss that. This is going to be fantastic. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot going on, and we can't wait to see you guys next weekend.
Yes, thank you for being a part of the amazing ukulele community. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha.